This video presentation is an introduction to Customer 3D. Siebel, which now replaces M2, is a component of the Customer 3D strategy of having a single view of a Vodacom customer. Single view of a customer, as defined in Wikipedia, is an aggregated, consistent, and holistic representation of the data known by an organization about its customers. There are additional components to the Customer 3D strategy besides Siebel. Amongst these are Billing and Revenue Management, Order Service Management, Oracle Product Hub, Unified Inventory Manager, and Fusion Middleware. The Customer 3D strategy has meant that some of our 20-year legacy systems, such as ICAP, Epics, and the core billing systems, will over time be replaced by the C3D components we have mentioned. In this video, we are going to focus on Siebel as the most common tool to be accessed in the stores, as we did with M2. Whereas in M2 almost invariably one would type in the MS-ISDN to accomplish any task, it is safe to say that M2 is MS-ISDN centric. In contrast with our Customer 3D approach, we want to emphasize the customer. Hence, with most tasks we wish to accomplish in Siebel, we take a customer-centric approach. That is why we call it Customer 3D. Introduction to the home screen. Now that you have the C3D login screen, enter the username and password as per this screen. Click on the login button. You will now receive a one-time PIN sent to your cell phone. Enter the OTP and click Login. You will now be presented with the C3D home screen. So let's review what we are seeing on the home screen. It is set out in very distinct sections. This is the application level menu with menu options and consists of a number of drop-down menus. The options in the drop-down menus will change depending on the task being accessed. Some options will become available and others grayed out according to what is accessible. Here is where you will find the logout option. It is important to note that it is best to log out when you have stepped away from your station rather than just to close the browser page. At the extreme right on the application level menu is the query list. Saved queries can be found here. Predefined queries will also be listed here. Below the application level menu is the global toolbar that has a number of icons, such as starting a query and executing a query. In this toolbar, you will also find the sitemap. This will give you a full view of all content available within Siebel. This can also assist you in finding the correct menu to use, in case you are finding it difficult to navigate to the correct menu. Next is the Task tab. Here it gives you a breakdown of the task being performed and also shows you what steps will follow. This view can be switched on or off. This is the Print tab. When in the Customer 3D view, it will print the customer's account summary as seen here. The next layer is the thread bar that traces your navigation steps for each different tab you are accessing in the first level menu. Below the thread bar is a row of tabs referred to as first level view bar. The layer below is the second level view bar. This is linked to the tab you are accessing in the first level view bar and will change accordingly. The layer below the second level view bar is the Google C3D search applet. We will refer to many other applets as we explore the Siebel home screen. Hovering the cursor on different areas on this home screen will bring up an applet name for the functionality one wishes to access. Google searches information of customers who have been migrated to Siebel or the search result will indicate if the customer is still on one of our legacy platforms such as M2, ICAP, etc. In the full deployment of Siebel, one would be able to access the relevant view, example M2, in a separate view frame. Below the Google C3D search applet are sets of list headers such as My Customer Comms, My Activities, etc. These list headers are visible based on set filters. Choosing another tab in the first level view bar, example from Home tab to Accounts tab, brings up a different set of list headers such as My Accounts and All Accounts. Note the collapse and expand buttons. Hovering on a button will show the available action of expanding or collapsing. There is also an option to rearrange the list headers or choosing to hide a list. Below the edit layout is the wizard list. These are some of the common install processes such as creating a new customer or undertaking a SIM swap. A wizard will invoke a sequence of steps which guides the operator in completing the process, such as creating a new customer. These steps follow sequentially, as often one cannot proceed to the next step if all required information is not captured. Then there is the dealer list, which manages the dealer selection. The last item to cover is the installed ID. Typing in the MSISDN, starting with 27, will create a customer comms. Creating a contact by inputting data. We will now show you how to input data by creating a contact. When a customer walks into a store and is not a Vodacom account customer, it is good practice to gather enough information with their permission to create the customer as a contact or prospect. This meaning there will be no account linked to this contact, but you will have a means to contact the client for marketing or survey purposes. This can be done by clicking the Contact tab on the first level view bar. Once clicked, you will be presented with two views, namely the list view here and the form view here. I will now show you how to create a contact and the differences encountered in each method. In the list view, by clicking New, you will be presented with a blank record represented by this blank row that you will need to populate with customer information by filling in the columns. But a simpler and more helpful way is to use the form view here, as it clearly highlights the mandatory field that needs to be populated. Thus, it is safe to say the best option would be to use the form view, as it clearly indicates the mandatory fields with a red star. Once you have captured the details and click Save, the contact is then created and cannot be deleted. However, if there is no activity relating to this contact within 6 months, the system will auto-delete the contact. This contact will be visible to all C3D users. Querying data. We will now show you how to search for data. There are a few ways to query data. The most obvious would be the Google search applet. Here you would input the name, ID number, surname, etc. You could also click the Contacts tab and do a simple search by choosing what you would like to search, by then entering the data for that and hitting the Enter key on the keyboard. You could also click the Query tab, which will bring up a blank query row in which you could choose what column to populate. For this example, we will use the ID column and then click Go. The same method could be used by clicking the New Query tab on the global toolbar or the Query tab in the application level menu, then clicking Run Query from the drop-down menu. To clear a query is quite simple, and this can be done by either clicking Go with no data inputted or by clicking Cancel like this. Note that most lists have a Show More or Less button in the top right corner. Column headers can also be rearranged to suit the user's preference by dragging the column header to where you would like it to be. You can also reorder the columns by clicking Menu here. Then clicking Columns Displayed. This will present you with a pop-up. Here you can decide what you would like to see and not see in the list as well as in which order it appears. This can be done by highlighting the desired column in the available columns list and moving it over to the selected columns by clicking the Display button. The same can be done to remove a column by highlighting the column and clicking the Remove button. Once you set your preferences, click the Save button. You will now be presented with your chosen view. One could also restore to the default by simply clicking the Reset Defaults button. Customer communication, creating comms. Now that we have created a contact and you know how to query a contact, we can go forward and create a customer comms. Once you have found the contact, drill down to the 3D view in the Customer Comms applet and click the New button. You will be presented with a new ID with the status In Progress. In that row of Customer Comms, scroll left to where you can see the category, subcategory, resolution, and DPA validation columns, as you will need to populate these fields via the drop-down menus. Once this has been captured, you can close the comms. You can also click on the File tab in the Application Level menu and choose to send the client an email, SMS, or fax. Making sure you are in the Customer 3D view, we will choose Email by choosing Account Contacts and then clicking OK. The recipient field would be populated automatically. You can now choose to CC or BCC by manually entering the address, or click on the appropriate tab and search the contacts for the address if captured in Siebel. It is good practice to send yourself a copy of the mail for your records. Type in the email subject here type in the appropriate information in the body. You can add an attachment, if applicable, by clicking on the Attachment button then New File in the pop-up screen and navigate to the desired attachment. Click the Open button, now click the OK button to attach it to your email. Your mail is now ready to send. Click the Send button. Your customer communication will be logged under the Customer Comms applet.